Hi, and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude, and part 4 of my buddy build with Jim at ShutterAce of the Tamiya German Sdkfz 250/3 Greif. So last time we left off, parts 4 through 6 got completed, which was the remainder of the tracks and then the front suspension components. So in this video, I'm going to be doing steps 7, 8, and 9, which is the engine and driver's compartment. Alright, so the first pair of parts we need are 60 and 61, which are the two halves of the transmission. So let us get those cut off, get those cleaned up. Alright, so let's see if there's any other. So there's a little bit of seam lines and stuff like that, like on this, I'm assuming, gear selector here. Need to clean that up. Probably won't even be able to see this that well, but we're going to clean it up anyway, because we don't want to look dumb. So let's see how it fits. Okay, that fits together pretty good. So let's get the old handy dandy. Now there's a little bit of slop, so you got to make sure you get it lined up properly, especially the bottom, where it's going to actually glue onto the floor of the vehicle. Now, one thing that's nice about this kind of glue is if there's some burrs or just a little bit of maybe flash that you may have missed during cleanup, this glue softens the plastic enough that you can smash it together and oftentimes totally remove any weird looking stuff. So I'm going to let that dry up really good before I move further on that, because there's a little bit of cleanup I'm going to have to do. So in the meantime, I'll cut off the firewall. This thing here, I'm not sure what that is. Could be parking brake and stuff. I don't know. That's weird. So B65, B66, and B23. So let's see. Here is 23. And then we got 65 and 66, which are here. Like that. Alright, so let's take a look at this part here, see what needs to be cleaned up. This lever here has a mold seam line on it. Let's get that. I've got this sanded down a little bit. It looks like too much of a step to be a mold imperfection, so I'm going with it's supposed to be like that. So then this semi-cylindrical part here needs to be smoothed out like that. So that looks pretty good. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So then this lever here, I've already got that cleaned up. It had some mold seam lines on it, but I got that. So this goes right in there like that. So let's throw a little cement there. Like that. So that looks cool. Alright, and then this part here goes here, like that. Now I've already got this cleaned up, except this side here. And go either way. That'll fit in here either way, so you got to make sure you get the orientation right with those little curved levers on that side of that bell housing. Is it really bell housing? I don't know. That's what it looks like. So we'll get that, let that dry up for a second there. All right, next I gotta glue the gearbox onto the firewall after I drop it. So, I gotta drop it twice for it to work right. Haha. Let's see, that fits pretty good on there. I think for this one, let's see. Let me see if I can shave these little seam lines here where the parts go together, kind of shave that down just a little bit so it fits really flush. Oh yeah, much better. All right, so let's do this. Make sure it's got a little bit of slop, so you want to make sure that it's vertical. Like that. Make sure it's real even. And then, just to make sure, you can throw that in there like that and see how it looks. Because I think it's going to interlock into the, into the floorboard, but that'll be alright because that looks pretty straight. So that looks good there. Well, that pretty much completes step 7. So step 8, first part we need is the floor, which is B51. Sounds like a bomber of some kind. So we'll get that there. Get these parts cleaned up. Give it a quick sand. Make sure it's all nice and flat and flush. Got a little bit of flash over here. So let's hit that with the old sanding stick. Alright, so as I said earlier, this fits here. Oh, look at that. Fits like a bleeding champ. A little bit of sanding there. A little bit on this side. Alright, so this is gonna go here. This will be nice to paint. Just paint it all as one big old unit. So we'll throw some cement there and there. make sure, whoa, make sure that's all pressed in. Now there's a little bit of slop, so you want to make sure these sides are lined up as close as possible to minimize the need for extra sanding and stuff. Then we'll put a little bit of cement in there, like that. We'll hold that. So there's that part there. So the next part we need to do is we need to get these seat parts in this storage container and these parts here. So those I think I'm going to paint separately. So I'm going to cut all the parts off and get them ready and for primer and paint, and then we'll move down to this stuff here. Alright, so now I need to cut off B 18, 19, and 30. $18, 19, and 30. So here's 18 and 19. And it's easy to tell them apart because one has big round things on the back. 30, some kind of storage thingy. Let's get those cleaned up. I'm going to get all this stuff off and get it prepped for primer. Now this has some ejector pin marks in the back, but they are of no consequence because the storage thingy is going to be on there. So let's see, like that. Okay, and this one here, I just need to make sure it's cleaned up. This has got a big ejector pin and a mark in the back, but I think I can tackle that with my handy dandy curved blade. Looks shallow enough, so let's see how it's gonna. I don't want to make it look like too much of a big dent in the back. Yeah, that'll work good. I'll just kind of scrape it down. Thusly, and then I'll take one of my blue sanding sticks that are kind of flexible, and I'll just kind of sand it a little bit to kind of smooth it out. Again, this is one of those things you probably won't even see once everything's installed, but it's always good to play it safe. So let me get another one of my blue sanding sticks out.
What would you do if you were on? Are you recording?
No.
If you were on the freeway, there was protesters, and they started coming up and trying to break your glass in your window. What would you do?
Oh well, it would really depend, because you know, what are you gonna do? All right, next up, I need to cut the seat cushions, seat part, and this big thing, whatever that is. So that is B72, and then 2 B38s. Get those. Check and make sure there's no weird seams or anything. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead, I've already cut these two parts off here, which is B58 and 59. So I need B68, which is the actual engine itself. B68. And I need B67, which is the radiator. Okay, let's see, let's clean these up. That's good.
So Skylar, what date are you guys
And then this one.
leaning toward?
Alright. Some of these parts have some pretty good mold seam lines. So we'll work on those. Alright, so now I need to put these two parts together. And you can't really get it wrong because there's a big notched out piece here and a peg there. So that kind of forces you to install it correctly. So I'm not really going to go in. I'm not even sure I'm going to paint this. And I'm not even sure I want to build it to put it in, because it's going to be totally enclosed in the engine compartment. Now, if one were doing a diorama or wanted to display it exposed, you know, that would be cool, because where it goes in the engine here, you can't even see it once it's put together, because you have this bulkhead here. You have this piece here, and then once you put this in place and the front and the engine cover doors, it's all totally concealed. So I'm not going to worry too much. I mean, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to actually install this part before I paint it, because I don't really need to worry about painting it. So anyway, I am gonna complete it though. So this part goes here, the air cleaner, and I'd be willing to bet that this is an oil bath air cleaner. Why? Just because. Just like my old Volkswagen had an oil bath air cleaner. It tripped me out when I first started getting into VWs. I really tripped a friend out whenever he was cleaning the air filter, and he took the air filter reservoir off, and oil came spilling out. He was freaking out. What's going on? Why is there oil all over in the air cleaner? Well, that's because the oil is the air cleaner. Wild stuff. And I know Jim Deck knows about it because he's a Volkswagen fan. So Jim, yeah. Oil bath, air filters. Other vehicles had them too, but I've only dealt with them on Volkswagen. Alright, so then this part goes on here, and it fits this direction like this. And they kind of go in conjunction. So the engine goes like something like looks like it fits like that, and it's got a now that's weird because it's showing a pin. That's weird. This pin shows it a lot more prominently on the instructions, but the pin fits in that hole. Whoa, that hole right there. Then the front of the engine butts up against that little stop there. So let's go ahead and glue all that in there. Probably doesn't need this much securing, but that's what I do sometimes. Okay, so that's in there like that, and then the radiator, kind of need to do them together, I guess, like that. Whoop. There we go. There we go. And then this fits right there. So we'll push that up against that, hopefully. There we go. All right, so that is that. All right, so that's all in place. And then this will go like that. Beautiful. But before I do all that, I need to spray this. So let me think about how I'm going to approach this. Alright, so this is all put together. The engine and everything is put there. All these parts are ready for paint. So this is my dilemma. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do here, because I have a feeling that due to build methods, places like this is where sometimes differences in styles will start to show, because this is what my method would be. This part is going to go down here, and it's going to be hard to get inside of there to paint details and to do weathering and stuff, especially once parts later on start to happen. What I would normally do is I would paint this outside of the vehicle. You know what? I may just go ahead. Let's take a look here. Whoops. Let me take a look here and try and decide what I'm going to do. Okay, so that part goes there, and then the seat goes over top. So theoretically, I could reach that to paint it. Same with the, whoops, the cushion there. Oh, I know my fat finger's in the way, but let's see if I can get it to where you can see it. Okay, so this cushion goes there. So I could paint that. So I could paint all this gray. I could paint it the color it's supposed to be, then do the cushions separately. When I paint the inside, I can do some detail painting in there, or some weathering. This part here goes on top here, and it's all one color. So I think I am going to do this like the instructions show, purely because of the challenge to do it, and because I really want to stick with the sequence of building. So that's what I'm going to do. So this goes in here like this. Okay, so let's see, how do I want to, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my thicker cement for the front, which is here and here. Use that for the front, then I'll use my liquid cement for the back. My extra thin, and that will go, you know what, actually before I get too crazy, no, it doesn't matter, I can do it after. I should be putting these parts on before I put this floorboard in, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so there's that. So that's cemented in. All right, so then I need to get this passenger side seat and glue this on there. So again, I'm going to use this cement. If I get, there it goes, there and there. And see, it's nice that they give you different size pins and holes. Whoops, different size pins and holes here, so you can't really get it upside down. It's only going to fit one way. So I'm going to let that dry up for a minute. Actually, I'm going to add some of this on the bottom just so it'll dry up quick. So I'm going to set that right there to dry. So then I'll go ahead and put the driver's seat back in. Sand a little bit of the edge off on this so it fits in there nice and tight. It's got a little bit of a flared edge on the bottom from the molding process. Okay, so that, whoops. That goes there. Hold it in place with my tweezers. Put my liquid cement in there. Hold that there for a second so it'll dry up real good. So I don't want it popping off. Now I just noticed, and I didn't really think about it, but there's no driver figure for this. All the figures are standing up in the back of the vehicle, looking around, seeing what's happening. So whoop, I need my other tweezers. Those are too narrow. There we go. Oh man, there we go. Okay, make sure it fits in there. So then that, oh crikey. Ah! Okay, so what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of this cement on the sides and front, and that'll be enough to hold it. I don't have to worry about it. Make sure it's aligned properly. Okay, now let's do this one. I'll do the same thing here. Sorry if it's getting out of focus. It's focusing on my sanding stick instead of on the part. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Same thing. Get some extra thin in there. Hold it for a second. Make sure it's in there real good. Okay. Test fit. The seat. Like that. So I'll pull that out of there. A little dab of cemento there and there and there and there. Get that in place, nice and straight. All right, and then lastly but not leastly, I'm assuming that's some kind of big old seat cushion. Don't know for sure, but that's what I'm going with. Okay. So again, I'm going to use this. Like that. Okay, and there it is. All right, so there you have it. That concludes parts 7, 8, and 9. The engine, the transmission / gearbox, and the driver's compartment. So, with that, I can end this video, part number 4. And next time, when we come back, we'll be working on the radio stand, which is step 10, and just various inner parts, steering column, steering wheel. Now I think for sure I'm going to, I'm probably going to go ahead and put those in there. I'll probably paint them outside of the vehicle, and I will probably do some painting before I glue these halves on. So probably what I'm going to do is get all this assembled. I'll paint these parts out of the vehicle, I'm thinking, and then I'll do the same thing with the top, and then once I button it up, we'll be good to go. So next time, parts 10 and 11, and we'll move on from there. So again, thanks for watching Brett and Jim's buddy build of the Tamiya Greif. And don't forget to tune in his channel and see what he's doing. There's going to be a link down below, so you can easily click on there and you can compare parts. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I will see you all later.